Are you looking for a travel trailer that weighs less than 3,500 pounds, but not sure which layouts are best? Well, stick around. We compare two awesome travel trailers that solve this issue very differently. Hey everybody, Mike from RVBlogger here in front of the camera, and Susan's behind it. And for the past 7 years, we've been making YouTube videos to help RVers pick the very best RV for them. And in this video, we found some awesome RV floor plans we're going to review that you can compare right from the comfort of your own home, wherever you are. So without any further ado, let's get started on our reviews. And if you find this video helpful, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and give us a quick thumbs up. It'll help other RVers find this video too. This travel trailer is the Airstream Basecamp model number 16X. It has an MSRP starting at $51,700, but you should never ever pay MSRP. The unloaded vehicle weight is 2,650 pounds. The cargo carry capacity is 850 pounds for an overall gross vehicle weight rating of 3,500 pounds. The hitch weight is 410 pounds. It measures in at 16 feet, 2 inches long, and it can sleep up to 2 people. The black and the gray tanks are combined to hold 24 gallons, and the freshwater tank holds 21 gallons. When you first walk into this travel trailer, on the right-hand side is where the kitchen area is located. Then we wrap on around past the mid-bath, and finally here we are in the living, sleeping, and dining area. Now, our first thought when we walked into this travel trailer is that it's a pretty cool travel trailer. It's not like any other travel trailers that you'll see out there. First of all, it's got this nice panoramic window in the front, and then the whole rear of the camper is really made to be both your, oh, well, not both, but 3 things: your living, your dining, and your sleeping area. And then of course it has the door on the very back to give it that back hatch, which kind of turns it into a very, very small toy hauler at the same time. You can get bikes and things like that in here. Of course, you're not going to get an ATV in here. But anyway, up here starting at the front, we have our kitchen area. Now, instead of using kitchen cabinets, they use this net system up top here, so you could pop things into these cargo nets on both sides of the kitchen. So it does keep them up and out of the way, and everything is visible, so you can easily find it and be able to use it. Then below that, we've got this really big panoramic window set up. These windows are always closed. They're in a fixed position. You can't open them. But they do have these nice, blackout curtains in here. And these are all just zipper operated. So you just move them up into position and then just zipper them right up into place. So they're not mechanical or anything. So there's very likely not going to be anything that goes wrong with them. And then once they're all zipped up and in place, you just kind of have to make sure the middle attaches this little Velcro piece. And there you go. That blacks out your windows for you. So, it doesn't seem like the most glamorous kind of fixture or a way of doing a window shade in here. But the good news is it can't break. So you don't have to worry about that. As we wrap on around, we have our 2-burner stove here on the countertop. And then we also have a really nice big round single bowl sink over here with a sink cover on it, so you can make some more countertop space that way as well. There's also a little tower of power over here, so you can pull that up, and there's another one on this side as well. So really you've got plenty of countertop space on this side of your cooktop area, so you could plug in a toaster, coffee maker, whatever you need, margarita machine, whatever it happens to be, and you'll have plenty of room for that. Below the countertop area, we have our microwave here, and then we have some storage below that with some open storage even further below that. And I think that this is really a good place to kick your shoes and throw them in there. It's got this tray that pulls out, and your shoes would sit in here, so any dirt or sand or whatever would go into the tray rather than all over the floor. So that's kind of a cool feature to have. Then you've got your refrigerator here, and this is a smaller size fridge, but it does have room for a couple of ice trays up top. I don't know about you guys, but if I was going away for a weekend of adventure camping, which is really what this trailer is meant for, maybe a weekend getaway kind of thing, I would need way more ice cubes than this little freezer could make me. So I might go ahead and bring like a countertop ice maker along, and that way I'd have ice cubes the whole weekend to keep refreshing my cocktails. Next to the refrigerator here, we have another storage compartment, and inside of here you've got a little spot for all of your kitchen utensils. Now, just on the other side of the entry door, you've got a little bit of storage over here as well. First of all, you've got some of your controls for lights and things. You've got your little key holders here, which is nice. Below that, you've got a little bit of a storage area here, and then some more open storage down below that. Now, on top of here, this piece does lift up. And then inside of here, you've got a couple of mesh pockets to hold things. You've got this area that's open where you can store things in here. There's also a USB and a C port that are available under here as well. So those are really nice features to have. Somehow or another, you're supposed to be able to get an electric cord through here and up through this grommet. I don't really, I don't have a screwdriver or anything to pry that up, but that's the idea. You could plug it in underneath, pull it through here, and then set your phone here and charge it up. You've also got an electrical outlet here for that as well. And then there's even a cup holder in here, which is really unusual because you actually have to lift this lid to be able to access the cup holder. But I guess whatever works, they had to put it somewhere. I probably would have drilled 2 holes. I would have drilled a hole through the top, and then I could just put my drink in there, and then the hole below would just kind of hold it in place. But that's just me. I don't build RVs. I just make recommendations as to how to make them great. Anyway, as we move on behind this little storage area, now we move into the living and dining and also your bedroom area. Now, kind of starting from the top, we have a nice big air conditioner up top here. I'm sure an AC this size would run you right on out of here if you weren't careful. This also has a heat pump built into it as well. So in addition to providing AC, it can provide you some heat, so you'll stay nice and toasty warm on those cold fall evenings while you're camping. Now back here, again, there's no cabinets, but they do have these open storage areas with all of the mesh in here. There's zipper pockets on them and all kinds of stuff to make everything as accessible as it can be. And it also gives you some extra storage because this is a double mesh and the zipper opens up, and that's how you access the bottom side of your mesh, and then you can still store things on top. So they just try to take advantage of every inch of space in here that's possible to make the most of it. And you have these little storage trays on both sides back here. There's also a couple of towel hooks, or you could hang jackets or hats back here on the wall, so that's kind of a nice feature as well. And then we've got a window on each side back here that opens up, so you can get some cross ventilation blowing through here. And then the really big feature is the back door. You can open this up and get this really nice cross breeze through here. You can lower this down, and that creates a screen for you back here so you don't get any bugs in your RV. And then of course the screen can also separate. There's a zipper that separates this, so if you want to jump in and out from here, you can do that as well. So in addition to the door having the screen, the other really great feature about the door, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, is you can sort of use this as a toy hauler. You can certainly, when you're in travel mode, get a couple of electric bikes in here, maybe a scooter or 2. You're not going to get super big stuff in here, but you can at least get your bikes inside, which is great, right? Because now they're not traveling on the back of your rig out in the rain and getting the road grime all over them, so they'd stay a little cleaner and nicer for sure. Now, as a living room area back here, it's kind of set up that way now. You can sort of sit here and recline on your dinette benches. They're not extremely comfortable, but they're not bad either. It's just, you're sitting very upright because it's just a plain 90-degree angle. It's not really a recliner type situation back here at all. But again, these campers aren't made for you to sit in them all the time, right? These are for adventure campers who like to get outside and spend all weekend outside. And then you just come inside when you need to. So that's really what it's designed for. Now, to take this from your living room area to your dinette area, it comes with a set of these taller poles. It also comes with a set of the shorter poles, but I'll explain that in a minute. So with your taller poles in place, I'd have one here for me, and Susan can sit next to me here or across. She would have her little table, and we could sit here and enjoy a meal, no problem at all. And so that's how you would use this as your dining area. Now, for this to convert into your sleeping area, you would remove the taller poles and then put in the shorter poles. And then you would still use your dinette table on top of this shorter pole, and it just floats right around here. It doesn't matter where you position it. But what you do is you lift up your cushions, and then there's a couple of spots where these fold over and land on top of these tables. This one would do the same thing if this big table wasn't in the way. And then when you lay out all of your pillows back here from your dinette, it makes a nice big bed back here. So if we were to do that, which we're not going to totally make the thing into a bed, but sort of from the furthest part, and I've got all the cushions mixed up now, but I'm just going to measure the cushion length. You've got 74 inches from the furthest part, which would be in front of the door. And then width-wise, I'll do it right here in the middle. That just seems like a fair spot to measure from. You know, in the middle of this, you're looking at about 73 inches wide. So almost as, well, wider than a king-size bed, but only 74 inches long, which makes it a RV short king bed in here. A residential king would be 80 inches long. And so that's what you would need to do to be able to set this up into your bed. And then in the morning, you unset it and turn it back into a dinette, and you're good to go for the day. I did want to mention just a couple of other features about the dinette before we move on to the bathroom. There are some electrical outlets back here. There's one electrical outlet, plus there's a 12 volt port, and there's also USB and USB-C ports back here as well. So if you need to plug in any electronic devices while you're laying in here sleeping at night, or when you're working at your dinette, or just lounging on the couch, everything's here and fully accessible. There's also some D-rings that are back here, and there's also D-rings that you can add back here to the floor, especially right on this strip along the edge of the step up back here. So you can mount D-rings in here anywhere along each of these little holes. And that way you've got some places to help strap down your bikes or scooters or any other things that you might want to throw in here. You've also got an all rubber floor, so you're not going to hurt the floor or scuff it up or anything. It's really meant for, you know, high traffic and high heavy use. So all of that stuff is some really nice features to know about. Also want to mention that in this rig there is no TV in here at all. There's no really good spot to put one. There's no outlets for it if you did figure out that you wanted to hang a TV somewhere. And you know, that's okay. We hear from folks all the time that say, hey, you're camping, you don't need an RV. And if you're in a trailer like this and you're away for a weekend adventure or a long weekend or even a week, and you can avoid watching TV, hey, I'm all for it. You know, I think we all could use a break from the news and all that stuff once in a while. We happen to be in our RV three quarters of the time, and for us not to have a TV, that would be very difficult, because we like to know what's going on in the world and keep up on things. And so in our case, we do need a TV. So everyone camps differently, and we'd love to hear your thoughts about whether or not you should have a TV in your RV or not, and why. And maybe tell us a little bit about what kind of a camper you are, so we kind of know where you're coming from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below, so hit us up. We read them all, we answer almost all of them. We try our best to get to them all, but there's so many we can't. But we sure do try, and we would absolutely love to hear from you. Now here I am standing in the shower, and this is a mid-bath configuration, and all that means is that the bathroom is in the middle of the RV. It's not in the front, it's not in the back, it's in the mid. So the good news with a mid-bath in this type of RV is that the ceiling is at its highest height in the middle, because it's kind of an arch type ceiling in here, and so in the middle it gives you the most height. So you guys know I'm 5'11", but let's get some heights. Let's get some height measurements in here and see what we're dealing with. So from the shower floor to the ceiling, we have 6 feet 3 inches of height in here, so that's pretty good. And outside, just normal height all the way up in this area is also about 6 feet 3 inches as well. So good amount of height in here. Obviously, this is not one of those types of trailers where the shower is lifted and now we have less ceiling height in the shower area than the rest of the RV. This shower base sits right flat on the floor, and it's got probably a different kind of trap underneath so that the trap works, but it does give you more head height or headroom inside of your shower area. Now there is a shower curtain here, but that's because when you close the door, you have to take this shower curtain and just cover the doorway entrance with it, so that while you're taking a shower, none of the water gets out of here through, you know, around the edges of the door. So that's why there's a shower curtain in here, just to cover the door area. Then there are some towel hooks on either side of the door. There's a nice mesh pocket back here. It's a 3-pocket mesh thing, so you can store your soaps and shampoos in there. It also has a little string that you can pull across here and make it like a little, what do you call that, honey? Like a clothesline, that's the word. So you can hang up wet bathing suits or towels and stuff like that and let them drip in here if they need to. So that's a lot easier to do as well. And then there's even behind me here a towel rack on the wall. The shower itself is considered what we call a wet bath. And what that means is that the toilet sits inside the shower base. So the shower base is the entire floor. The toilet is inside the shower. So when you take a shower in here and you're in here getting all clean and everything, you're going to get your toilet completely wet while you're in here, and that's why it's called a wet bath. Now, in addition to that, you've also got your TP holder here, and this has a special cover on it so your TP stays dry as long as your lid is closed while you're in here taking a shower. And finally, while I'm sitting down on the commode here, I'm not going to pass the elbow test with the door closed, but there's plenty of room in here that you won't feel too claustrophobic while you are getting your business done. So here we are outside of this travel trailer, and there are no outdoor storage compartments on this rig, but it does come with an outdoor shower port. Hey guys, before we jump into the next RV review, I just wanted to take a minute and tell you about a tool that Susan and I use for all of our trip planning, and it's called the RV Life Pro app, and it includes our favorite trip planning tool, RV Trip Wizard. We literally use it for every RV trip that we plan, and here are 4 great reasons why we love it. Number 1, we can plan our entire route from start to finish, including campgrounds, fuel stops, and even harvest host locations. Number 2, it's built specifically for RVers. It factors in your RV's height, weight, and length so you can avoid bridges and unsafe roads. Number 3, it syncs right to our phone because there's the RV Life app that you can load on your phone or on your CarPlay, on your nav system in your car, and therefore your phone becomes a GPS. So it's seamless to go from your plan to the GPS system. It works really, really great. And number 4, you can save 25% on RV Trip Wizard when you use our link. You can use the QR code that's on your screen right now, or head on down to the description where I have our exclusive link. So if you want to make your travels easier and your trip planning a lot less stressful, head on over to RV Trip Wizard and save yourself 25%. And Susan and I will see you guys on the road. Now, let's get back to our next RV review. This travel trailer is the Safari Condo Alto, model number A2124. It has an MSRP starting at $58,703. The unloaded vehicle weight is 2,543 pounds. Cargo carry capacity 957 pounds for an overall gross vehicle weight rating of 3,500 pounds. The hitch weight is 331 pounds. It measures in at 21 feet even, and it can sleep up to 4 people. Gray tank holds 24 gallons, black tank holds 14 gallons, and the freshwater tank holds 26 gallons. When you first walk in this travel trailer, on the right-hand side, you'll find the dinette area. Then we wrap on around past the mid-bath and kitchen, and in the back of this camper is where your living room and bedroom are located. Now, our first impression when we walked into this travel trailer is we were really wowed by it. It's got some really cool features in here, and the layout is really amazing. First of all, starting with the front of the rig, you can see that it's got that cone shape up front, and that's to help make this trailer more aerodynamic. The whole idea is when you drive down the road with a travel trailer behind you, it creates a lot of wind resistance. So they made a cone shape up front. The roof actually slopes up as it comes back, and then in the back of this RV, the roof slopes back down, and even the back corners angle in. The whole thing makes this rig very aerodynamic, and it really helps if you're towing with an electric vehicle as well. So with a gas-powered vehicle, It'll help make sure your gas mileage stays up. With an electric vehicle, it'll make sure that your range stays nice and long, so you're not having to recharge every 150 miles or so. So these are fantastic in terms of getting great fuel efficiency while you're riding down the road. And plus, the design on them is just so cool. They look so different than everything else you see out there in the marketplace. Now, starting up front here, I love the fact that they have two really nice oversized windows on the sides. Makes for a nice feel up here. And then this is where your dinette area is. So if you're seated here, you know, 4 people, definitely 3 people could sit in here very easily, but 2 people or 3 would be very, very comfortable in here. To my right-hand side, you just have this really large countertop area here that you can use. There's even an outlet here and a 12-volt port. So if you did want to plug anything in up here, you could certainly do that. I could see Susan putting a lamp in up here or something like that. So while we're working here, we have plenty of light. You could also use it for additional countertop space. Put a crock pot or something up there and cook your meal. And at the end of the day, when it's dinner time, it's all ready for you. Now, underneath of these dinette benches, there is some storage under here, and it's accessible from outside as well as inside. So when we go outside a little later on in our review, we'll show you how that works. But you can either lift up the dinette seats in here and get to those storage areas, or access them from outside. Now, this table, this triangular shaped table, which you never see in an RV, this is just so cool. This also drops down, and so the dinette can also convert into a bed up here. Now, this is going to be kind of hard to measure, so I'm just going to measure the widest part here, which is about 80 inches. The narrower end over here is about 48 inches, and then the depth of it is going to be about 42 inches deep. So, you know, you could get an adult in here pretty comfortably. Maybe a couple of kiddos, if you're a small young family, could sleep up here as well. Now, here we are by the entry door, and there's a couple of really nice features up here. First of all, we have this nice fan that you can use, and you can bend it all around. It can move all kinds of different directions, and so you can create some nice airflow in here. And then there's an extend-a-top on this end of the counter with a couple of light switches over here for your outside lights, but the rest of your control panel is right here, so that's really great. There's also an outlet here, so if you wanted to use your extend-a-top, plug in a coffee pot or something like that, you've got your electricity there for that. Up top here, we have our built-in microwave oven, and then we have these really big cabinets up top. Plenty of space inside. It's got a shelf in here that you can either leave it in place or remove it to create taller storage if you need that. These doors are really nice. They just slide back and forth. And so no mechanical stuff that can break on you, no hinges that'll break or come loose, just a very simple design. And they actually have Velcro on the edge of the door, and then they also have the other side of the Velcro at the end of the cabinet. So when you close your door, it actually Velcros shut so that they don't slide open while you're driving down the road. Really ingenious design. I like simple things like that because they're not going to break. They're just going to work for as long as you own your camper. Now, underneath of here, we have a row of LED lights that keeps everything well lit. And then of course we have this oversized window here as well to let in even more light. There's a Dometic 2-burner propane stove in here. I wish they would do their stoves front to back instead of side to side, because it would give you even more countertop space in here. So we'll talk to the manufacturer and see if they decide to change that over time. Right next to that, we have a single bowl round sink with a flip up faucet. So it's kind of airplane style. Again, you can lower the faucet down and close the lid, and that does help you gain more countertop space in here. But you have your extend-a-top on this end, and we do have a little bit of space on the other end as well. There's also an outlet underneath here in the countertop, as well as a 12-volt port. So if you do need to plug anything in here, you can easily do so. Now, underneath of the kitchen sink, this cabinet's really cool. All these drawers slide right out. There's even a kitchen utensil drawer in here for you. And again, these are very simply done, and they won't break over time. And the hardware on here is really cool as well. So it's got a position where you close it and it won't open. You have to turn the knob to get it to open. But when you're in travel mode, you push them in and now they're locked in position. So your drawers and doors aren't going to open up while you're cruising down the road. And then we have 3 really nice deep drawers here for more pots and pans and kitchen utensils storage area. Now, to wrap up the kitchen, we have to jump across to the other side of the RV, and that's where we'll find the refrigerator in here. But before we get to that, first we have a nice big storage cabinet up top here, plenty of room. It's got a shelf that's built in here, and so it gives you a couple of places to stow things away. Down below here, it's got a really cool fridge. Your freezer, you have plenty of room in there. Also, plenty of room inside your fridge. Now, if I'm on this side of the RV and I have a beer attack and I have to get to it real quick, that's great because the door opens the correct direction. But let's say I'm sitting over here at the dinette and I need a beer. Not a problem. I can open it up from this side too. So these fridges that have the doors that can open both directions are really, really cool. I think they're a neat feature to have in any RV. Now here we are all the way at the back of this RV, and this is where your living room is, but it also converts into your bedroom, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. Storage-wise, just past where the mid-bath is located, we do have a wardrobe closet here. This does have a bar up top, so you can hang your garments in there. And then we've got cabinets all the way around inside of here. You saw the one that is in the kitchen, but out here we also have tons and tons of storage. Some of the shelves that are in here you can remove, so you can have taller storage if you need that. And then everywhere else though, they've managed to find a place to get a cabinet in. So I can't get over how much storage in here. It's really, really terrific. Now, once you're back here, you'll also notice that we've got windows all over the place. A window straight across. They did all three sides of the back with a window, which just looks great. And then we have another window that we saw earlier because it's over top of the kitchen countertop. So in terms of creating a nice bright light atmosphere inside your camper, I mean, this is just really ideal. Now, underneath the booth seating in here, there is some storage underneath of that as well. And you can access that storage from outside. So we'll take a look at that in a couple minutes when we go outside and look around. If you were going to turn this into a bed, you really have a couple of options here. You could leave it as is and use it as a twin bed. And if you were to do that, you know, the long end of this is going to make your bed about 80 inches. And then the width on here is, I'll call it 29. Same exact length and width on this side. So two very good sized twin beds. I mean, an 80-inch bed is a residential size. But if you want, you can grab these pillows and they just squish down in place in between what we currently have here, and you can make this whole area into one big bed. Now, we already know we're 80 inches this way, and if we made this into one big bed from side to side, man, you'd end up with a bed that's basically 80 inches wide by 80 inches long. So it's bigger than any king bed that I know of, and it'll give you plenty of room up here. When it's not in bed mode, you just pull your cushions out, and then, you know, this becomes a nice living room area. If it's a rainy day and you want to sit inside and relax, you can certainly do that. I would probably bring some table trays along and set those up back here if I needed to, and it just gives you another area in your camper to be able to enjoy a meal or something like that. And so it becomes even more multifunctional. So instead of just being a living room and a bedroom, now it becomes a dinette, living room and bedroom. So you can make the most of your space inside your camper that way. Now here I am standing inside the shower in the mid bath here, and this is what's known as a wet bath. A wet bath is a little different than a dry bath. A dry bath is like your bathroom at home. Your shower stall is your shower, your toilet's outside of the shower, and so is your sink. A wet bath is different because everything is in the shower, including your sink and including your toilet. So when you take a shower in here, everything gets wet. And that's one of the disadvantages to a wet bath, right? Everything gets wet, so after you take a shower, you have to wipe it all off, so if you want to use the bathroom later, it's dry. One of the big advantages to a wet bath is that it doesn't take up much space. So there you go. Now we have all of this extra space outside of the bathroom. All that being said, though, this is a very good sized bathroom. I feel very comfortable in here, standing and being able to move around. You guys know I'm 5'11" and I weigh about 190 pounds. So I fit in here just fine. Let's get some measurements and see what we're dealing with, though. In terms of ceiling height from the shower floor up to the ceiling, we have, it's exactly 6 feet tall. And really, I think it's about right. I got about an inch over my head. From the regular floor to the ceiling throughout the entire camper, We have about 6 feet 4 inches of height. And then the bathroom in here, it's kind of hard to measure because it's kind of weird. It's a weird shape, but it's 43 inches wide, and we'll call it, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 28 inches wide or so. So not a bad setup at all. There is a mirror on the door, so if you need to see yourself, you can do that. And then up here, this is where your sink is. Now this is also your shower faucet. This just pulls out and this becomes your shower wand that you're going to use. So that's very, very well done. Again, it's multifunctional. Behind me here, we have a window inside the bathroom so you can get some ventilation in here. And then they kind of have this little cabinet towards the back so you can stow away any of your personal items. Now there is a shower curtain that goes around the inside of a wet bath. It goes all the way around this metal track. And what that does is, when you take a shower in here, if you just shut the door, water would run out from under the door and flood your RV. So the shower curtain really is meant to go in front of the door to make sure all the water stays inside the shower. Finally, when I'm sitting here on the commode, you know, there's no way I'm going to pass the elbow test in here, but this bathroom is big enough that even with the door closed, I can sit here and feel very, very comfortable. So here we are outside of this rig, and we're on the non-camp side, but that's because there is a storage compartment over here underneath of the front dinette booth that you can access from outside. There's not one on the campsite, so that's why I'm on the other side of the RV. There's also your shower port out here. So if you wanted to take an outdoor shower or just wash off, you know, your feet if you're at the beach or clean up your kids or whatever, you can do that all outside opposite your campsite so you don't get your campsite all wet. And then at the very back, there's a door on this side and a door on the other side. So you have sort of pass-through access to your storage area back here, which goes all the way underneath your bed, underneath the booths that create your bed on both sides and the back of the camper. So lots of storage space. Well, if you've made it this far in the video with us, thank you very much. We appreciate you sticking around. And if you want even more resources to help you become a better and more educated RVer, just head on over to RVBlogger.com. And if you're shopping for an RV either now or in the future, we invite you to subscribe to our channel so we can make it super easy for you to compare RVs. And if you want to check out some more RVs, just click one of these boxes down below, and Susan and I will see you in the next video.